Ladies and gentlemen, please rise. And now to honor America, please join in the singing of our national anthem. Representing the three-time Stanley Cup champion New Jersey Devils, Arlette.
I feel like I'm at a game. Oh my gosh. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
Happy Devils Sunday! This is the Let's Go Devils podcast, flooding you with information of the NHL draft,
Wow.
free agency.
Wow.
We're going to flood you with information. Flood you with information.
That's a big statement.
Streaming live on Facebook Live,
Bold.
Twitter Live,
Bold.
YouTube Live, and Twitch on the Primetime Radio Network. I'm your host, Sam Wu, here with Beer Baron and Scotty of Sirius XM Liquid Metal.
What's up?
How are ya? Great time at Enzo's. Great time at Enzo's. You missed it, Scotty. You missed it.
I want to hear. Well, when I checked in, when I finally wrapped up, because I'm on the West Coast, so my work hours are a little bit off from you guys. But when I finally checked in, it was right when the friggin' Colorado Avalanche drafted Oscar Olsson, however you say his name, that kid from Sweden, that I was just hoping, praying, fell to the Devils, in their very late first round. And I feel like, I thought, like, you know what? Last year, right when I joined in, what's his name from the Rangers? That's when they made that move and they jumped one spot ahead of us and they took Braden Schneider, Braden Schneider, that defenseman who we definitely had our eye on. We went with Muhammad Doolin, but I was just like, I think I jinxed the team
that was
both
Mercer.
times.
That was Mercer.
Was that
the Devils
Mercer?
ended up getting Mercer instead of Schneider. So that one actually could have ended up working in our favor. We'll see. Time will tell.
All right.
But
Okay. Well, either way, I felt like as soon as I wrapped up at work, I tune in and, I don't know about you guys, but seemed to be like this Oscar kid from old Sweden, is looking like a bit of a kind of a steal there. And just some of the later reports. I know, remember Beer Baron, when we initially talked about the draft, we were like, oh, yeah, blah, blah, blah. Like everything we were first talking about was like, completely flipped upside down, except for Owen Power going first, but this kid is supposed to be like a little like hidden gem. And I just read a lot of different reviews of him, like the way the draft was playing out with the defense heavy. It was like there's a real chance that this dude can fall down to the Devils. And it was just like, as it was going on, I was kind of checking in, and it was like, well, this might be, but freaking Colorado. And that's when I was just like, I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm out.
Well, this is where
I jinxed it.
Well, you know what though? The problem is like things went from good, then it went to who are these freaking guys kinds of things, and we're going to talk about this. We're going to talk about the Devils' first couple picks because later in the rounds.
Is that the description we're going with tonight? Analyze. Yeah. This is the information you're going to be getting, right? This is all that information that you're going to be flooded with.
Exactly.
Flooded. Yeah, that's a bold statement, Samu. I like how you dropped that on us. Hey, flooded with information. And off to Scotty and Beer Baron.
as he sits back.
Sits back. Lights up a cigar, just chilling,
I'm trying to find
the boys will take care of it.
I'm trying to find the full list of draft picks because otherwise, listen.
I know let's. By the way, everyone on Facebook and YouTube and everything, hello. Please give us your ideas, what you thought of the draft and everything like that.
Yeah.
But there was I don't know. I'm glad that Fitzy kept both the picks. This Stillman kid, I don't know too much about.
That's what I want to talk about. So we're going to talk about that. I'll go back to looking at my phone in a second.
Okay.
Obviously, let's talk about Luke Hughes in number 1 because that first of all, everybody and their mother
Jackie looks happy.
Assume, happy. Happy.
Jackie looks happy.
You ever get home after a long day and you haven't seen your dog in a while, and your dog is like, "Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god!" Like they're doing who looks dance thing.
You know who looked pretty envious? Quinn.
And future Devil? You mean future New Jersey Devil?
Future Devil. Yeah, future Devil. Yeah. Quinn Hughes. Yeah, that would be.
And I love. Speaking.
You saw a look at his face. He's like, "We're going to get to play together."
The funny thing
I used to beat them up when they were kids. Don't forget about that. I was waiting for him to just hold Luke down. Yeah. Just hold down when was Quinn drafted? He was like 6th or 7th, right?
7th.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Luke's just like, I was 4th, bro. I was 4th,
exactly. So Quinn,
Jack with his pimp fatty pants.
I don't know if anybody heard it, but Quinn Hughes. Or not Quinn, I'm sorry. Luke Hughes was saying in one of the interviews afterwards, after he was drafted, he was like, yeah, it's exciting, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, I can't wait to play with Quinn, too. And I was like, I say what now? I say what? Mm-hmm. Are you, what is that, tampering? Are you tampering? Don't get us in trouble. Don't let us forfeit a draft pick. But at the same time, his brother is an RFA. So let's not forget, it doesn't happen often. Let's be real. It does not happen often. Quinn Hughes has not gotten into He has not gotten into contract. It won't happen.
Luke's I'm just saying. Luke's not going to be on the Devils for a couple of years. But in a couple of years, that's when Quinn might be a UFA.
Well, that's going to be my point. So Quinn is not engaging the Canucks in talks right now, which could be anything. That doesn't, let's not try to look at this through a narrow glass, even though, like, obviously we're looking through this. Yeah.
He broke off the engagement?
He broke
off the engagement. Did he get back the ring?
So.
Did he get back the ring, or did he pawn it?
He might have pawned it. He might have tried it. He's trying to get at least a $150 for it. But so you got, how much did you say? $135 or whatever it was. So you have Quinn in that situation, but drafting Luke. So there's a lot of people, and obviously when we were there at the wonderful Enzo's in Hackettstown / Mansfield, New Jersey.
Best pizza in Hackettstown.
Best. So I also have to say,
melts in your mouth. Oi, hey, yo, yeah, melts in your mouth, kid. Whoa.
Big props to Sam Wu and knocking it out of the park and putting that together. And you should have seen that. I mean, walking up, I was like, man, I feel like we work for like ESPN, but everything that was all set up and the way that Sam had it, and DJ Shelley was there. we had monitors. I was like, this is like the most professional thing I've been involved in ever. And I have a
monitors in a
job.
tent, huh? Monitors in a tent. He's impressed. You're a cheap date, buddy.
Impressed. I am very, very much so. They're like, look,
Actually,
this board. The board lights up. I'm like, oh, take these off.
Actually, truth be told, I set up around 4:00. Like an idiot, I wasn't under a tent, and like half of our equipment overheated, like by 6:00. So I was like, oh, and then Shelly's like, maybe you should put that umbrella.
Come under my tent? Yeah, or put the umbrella up, something?
Yeah, something like that. But a lot of people showed up.
Put the spray bottle down. Yeah.
A lot of people showed up.
We got a good crowd. Matt,
crowd.
Our good friend Matt. Oh, there's a fly in here, so I am sorry if you see me going like this. I feel like what's his face at the Jets. I'm like my head.
You're like this dog from Up.
I am. Oh, what squirrel? But
you're like a mix of Charlie Kelly and the dog from Up. That's what's going on over here.
Got him that time. I know. But let's get back on the point. So Luke Hughes, everybody's pumped.
Matt Junio. You said something
Matt
about
Junio. Yes, Matt. Sorry, Matt Junio. It was good to see him, talking to him and his friends there, and we were having a good time. But we had a lot of fans of the podcast out, so it was really cool. But
that's awesome. Thank you for
Luke
everybody to come out.
Yeah, thank you, seriously. But when Luke was when we picked Luke at 4, I don't think I was shocked. I don't think anybody was shocked. There's a few people that were saying like, oh, you could go with Evanson. You could go with Eklund. There's a couple different Clark. There's a couple different ways you could go. But if you put it into perspective, it's not a bad choice because first of all, he was projected towards the top of the draft. It wasn't like he was projected to be 10 or projected to be 15. And the Devils were throwing Jack a bone or hopefully greasing the wheels so Jack will sign an extension in the next year or so.
No. We're getting in the Hughes brothers business. That's what we're getting into right here, and I think it's a good business to get into. That's what's happening. Yeah,
they're getting in on the ground floor. You know what I mean? So
Jack looked well. First off, he looked big pimping there with those pants and his shoes and everything. Jack had the style going on. He was like, "We're gonna be on TV tonight, fellas. This is how you work it. All right,
yeah.
Older brother, younger brother. This is how you do it. All right. You gotta look good. You gotta put your foot up on the table." You gotta look like a tough guy over here. We gotta get your long locks, your hockey hair,
the whole hair, and he flipped it. And goes like this,
yeah. You gotta get the little behind the ear, every now and then.
He gave away the pick, though. He gave away the pick.
Who cares? We all knew it.
We all knew it. But once they did, I think they picked. Once Seattle picked at 2, they shot over to the Hughes household, and you see Jack with this big blank-eaten grin on, and I'm like, that's it. It's officially going to happen. I mean, we all knew it, but whatever. But
we all knew. It's
cool,
great.
man.
He looked happy,
cool.
And if Jack is
legitimately
happy, and if Jack is happy that his younger brother is there, and who is much bigger than Jack, by the way, already.
Yeah, 6'2".
That just kind of solidifies. Yeah, it doesn't solidify it. Obviously, they could always leave, but I mean, that really puts us in a good position to lock it down with these guys long term, which is great. Yeah. And Quinn, if we get him here, how many years we can go back? Just go get Rob, so Scott will stay happy and stay here on the friggin' East Coast.
Yeah.
Brothers playing together. They do. Yeah. They like playing, especially to get to play. If 3 brothers, like the Stahl brothers, maybe it doesn't happen their entire career, but whatever. At some point, they wanted to make it happen. So to get all 3 brothers on one team, that's awesome to be able to do that. 3 elite players like that. Can you imagine? You got a kid drafted 8th overall, 1st overall, and 4th overall.
Yeah, that's wild. That's wild. And you got to think about how, as a parent, even if you played in the NHL or if you didn't play in the NHL, even to have your kid drafted, but then to have 3 of your 3 boys. I was making a joke there's probably a 4th Hughes brother that nobody talks about. He shows up. It's there's Craig Hughes. Craig, get out of here. He's he wears Birkenstocks and smells of patchouli. You know what I mean?
He's like he's the Jon Snow of the family. Like they send him off, they're like, you can't play hockey, you only go play curling. That's it. You go play curling. That's it.
But Dad, I broke my femur. You know that. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. Go get your bong and just go practice your bongos and get out of here. But you know, I was really pumped to see how excited Jack was. It's gonna be great to see hopefully these three, but at least these two play together, and maybe not next year, and maybe not the year after, maybe in 3 years. And by then, Jack should be really getting into his prime, and the team should be. God, this fly is killing me. The team should be really getting into if things keep projecting the way they should be, getting into where they need to be in time for him to join the team.
And the team also, there's no rush on Luke right now. There's no rush on him, which is great. Like we know he's really young. He's going to take this year of college. 17. Hopefully after 17. All right. He's going to college. He's going to play at Michigan. Maybe he plays 2 years. I don't know. And then let him have a year in the AHL, before he comes up. Unless he's just Superman, and he's ready to go, then okay. But in this sense, we don't have to rush him, which is really good. It's not like we need him in the lineup next season, stat, no, let him develop a little bit and he'll be there soon. I think it's go ahead. What's up, Sam?
Can I interject? The top 4 picks, 3 out of 4 are going to Michigan.
Yeah.
Yes.
How did they not win a national championship last year? That was something we brought up in the live podcast, and I couldn't understand that.
They're going to Michigan. I'm a Penn State guy, but I envy the Michigan Wolverines ice hockey team right now. And Luke is going to learn how to win in college. He's going to be a New Jersey Devil, hopefully, in the next couple of years. And as said, Beer Baron and Jack is just getting into his prime.
Mm-hmm.
Things are looking he is an elite skater, Luke, and he's still growing, which is kind of scary.
Yeah, and the thing is what the team is doing right now, and you look at we're going to get into the second pick that they had in the first round, which ended up being Stillman. There's a lot of people that were like, "Oh, I hate this pick." Blah, blah, blah. You could have had this person, that person, and that's the thing is you can pontificate on any of these players. And by the way, let's not joke ourselves.
Pontificate. Look at you trying to use the big fancy words.
Hey, triple word scored.
Pontificate.
But I mean, you look at some of these kids in the first round, in the very beginning of the first round, they could be busts. You look at first overalls. You look like
anybody could be a bust. Yeah,
anybody
absolutely.
could be a bust, or anybody could be
course.
a stud. Anybody could be a
could
stud
be a
for that
stud.
matter. Yeah.
When did Tom Brady get drafted? 6th round?
Sixth round, yeah. What about Martin St. Louis? Martin St. Louis was like a back of the draft guy. There's lots. Kucherov, 2nd round. I think he was like 58th or something like that. So you look at it, you listen, sometimes it doesn't matter where somebody gets drafted. It just matters on their development. And what happened in the last year, especially last year and the year before with COVID, a lot of the numbers are going to be completely messed up. So, you look at it when they put it on the big board and they're like, this dude only had like X amount of assists and X amount of goals and like how many games like that. That could be completely messed up because you have to remember the OHL canceled their season. Basically every league at one point got shut down. There's a lot of things there's a lot of moving parts. What you have to do is you have to dig deeper. And I really looking at this kid, looking at Stillman, looking at his stats, looking at who he is character-wise, from everything that I could read, from all the little, YouTube clips that I could find, I think the kid's got a solid chance. People are like, oh, he's a 4th liner. He's a 4th liner. I don't know, man. He looks like he's going to be one of those grinded out bangers. And some of those dudes end up being big ticket items. Because you look at the Boston Bruins, look at some of the tough guys on the Boston Bruins that are playing on their top lines. So I hate when people poo-poo a pick right away. I hate when people are like, "Oh, why would they do this? Why? I can't believe they." You have no idea how that pick is going to turn out. You could talk trash about it like 4 years from now, unless it's like a complete bonehead move where you're like, "This dude was." I think the Edmonton Oilers picked a defenseman who was like ranked 1,500 or something like that, and they picked him at like in the mid 50s.
Well,
or
I got a
something
better
like that.
example. I got a better example. I shouldn't mention it. Montreal made a bonehead move.
Oh yeah,
They totally.
Well,
That's another story, but I'm just
that's
saying,
another story for
Yeah, but getting
we
back
should
to your
talk about
point, and getting back to your point about Stillman, I think the Devils potentially have drafted their own Pat Maroon one day. Once he gets into the league, fourth, fifth year, you're going to need a guy like him if he's plays with energy. That's what the scouting report says. Wins the battles, kills penalties. You need those guys.
Didn't we just? What happened? What was it? What happened? Didn't we have a guy and then we didn't have a guy that was just like that they needed to replace?
That begins with a
Bastion, Swampy. Maybe it's on the briefcase. Samsonite. There it is. I was
way off.
Yeah, last I checked, we just lost a guy that kind of fits that role that everyone seemed to be a little bummed about losing. And if this is what happens,
half the people were bummed, and half the people were like, "Oh, why are you guys so mad about a fourth liner?" It's like, you're a moron, and you don't see the big picture. You don't see what was happening with that line, and seeing them develop together would have been nice, but whatever.
It would have been nice, but in the bigger picture, I do believe, like Bastion will be replaceable. There will be someone else to come in here and deliver some big hits, and to put some stuff together. And you never know, it might even work even better. We wish him all the luck, of course. But I think we protected the right people and we exposed the right people. I think we were all just hoping they would select PK. By the way, we didn't really get to touch on that Seattle draft. They made some. I was just like,
weird choices.
Yeah, I'm like, what's going on? And they took what's his name?
Do you have like 8 goaltenders and like 10 defensemen?
They took John Quinville from Chicago, our old buddy John Quinville.
Ex-Devil. Talk about another dude that I had high hopes for.
Yeah, they made some real interesting selections there. So we'll see what goes on in Seattle. I was a little shocked by some of that stuff. I think we all were really hoping that they would snag PK, and kind of take that contract for 1 year, take that personality, put him to good work in that sense for a new franchise in a city, a diehard sports city. It would have been a good thing. But, Fitzy can work on a trade. We never know what can happen. I think we'll probably hang on to him until the trade deadline, obviously. But I have seen a couple people on Facebook. I haven't got to check the YouTube live talking about, the new rumors about old Dougie boy. Dougie Hamilton. Yo, Dougie Hamilton. I heard Dougie Hamilton's going to come over Devils, yo. Come on, Dougie Hamilton. We're going to put him on the blue line. He's going to be Dougie Hamilton. I've heard the rumors, now see, one piece moves over here in Ryan Graves, and all of a sudden now, like, other people are starting to look. Oh, we got Luke Hughes too. Oh, Jack's there. Quinn really looked like he wanted to come over. We got this Nico guy. Got one of those Swedish kids ready to come. See, all of a sudden, we're starting to look a little more enticing. In another year, we're going to look even more enticing. Do the Devils want to get into the Dougie Hamilton business? Because if we do, you're in the Dougie Hamilton business for a while. This is going to, that's a long minimum. That's a long-term contract, Yep. And we know Fitzy has talked about, not dealing with those age limits or that age bracket as much in those terms for right now, with the team still growing and building. However, as we mentioned with the Tarasenko possibility, If
Which
PK,
is still floating out there.
It's still floating out there. But PK, if he does get moved, we eventually have to replace that contract, which we need to get us to the bottom. Now, we could replace that with a long-term deal for Jackie Boy at some point, but we would be surrendering a couple years of control. So it's a little tricky situations going on there. Do the Devils lock themselves into an 8-year Dougie Hamilton deal? Is that what the team needs right now?
I don't think it's a terrible idea, because if you look at the defense that they're starting to build, adding Graves, having Severson, Murray, apparently they're talking to Murray right now, trying to get something done. Which
Ty Smith, Kevin Ball,
exactly.
Riley
So
Walsh.
You have a good mix of young. You got PK in there, and by the way, PK. I don't think any of us want to get rid of PK Subban. I just think that a lot of us at the money, if PK Subban was making like, I don't know, 4.55 or something like that, you would be like, man, why would you even try to think about getting rid of him? Oh my God. Why?
Well, you kidding me? People would be calling us left and right for him if he was 100%. Only making that much money, but $9 million a season.
Yeah, man. Exactly. Well, last year he started to show glimpses of old PK. And if you don't believe me, look at his numbers and look at what he was doing. Then, things happened. The whole season was just a complete wash. And, he ended up getting COVID towards the end and lost the last, I think, like almost 2 months or a month and a half of the season. So you have PK Subban, who is not going to have, if you bring in Dougie Hamilton, you have a veteran leader on the blue line. You have somebody that I think steps into the role as being like the head honcho of that group. Takes a little bit of heat, a little bit of weight off of PK's shoulders, maybe frees him up a little bit. You think you have somebody that could be a mentor towards some of the younger defensemen, especially, listen, we have a lot of really good young talent on the back end. Kevin Ball last year, in that small, tiny little sample size, that, murderous looking face of his, he went out there, he played pretty darn good. I mean, was he like lights out amazing? We were like, oh my God, Kevin Ball is going to change the NHL? No, but he held his own. He did all right in a small sample size. So now you'll get the full preseason. And that's the other thing too. This year is going to be a quote unquote normal year, right? So you're going to get the full preseason. You're going to get to see some of these guys. You're going to get a chance to get the team to gel before jumping into a full season. So I think bringing Dougie in, there's more pros than there is cons. The biggest con would be that contract. God forbid, knock on wood, any injury comes into play. But I think it's.
Do you think that would be? What's he? 28? How old is he?
28. So 36 would be the end of the contract. If he gets an 8x8, 8x8 or 8x9.
Let me just check his.
He's looking to
tell you what.
I don't know.
In the short term, guys, Dougie Hamilton.
He's 28. He's 28. He makes 5.5 now. He's 6'6". He's going to turn 29 next June. So he just turned 28. About a month ago. June 17th.
Oh, close to mine. Dang.
Go ahead, Sam. I'm sorry.
Well, I think if the Devils do indeed sign Dougie Hamilton, that changes the entire dynamics of that blue line in the short term and the long term as well. Think about next season. If you have a pairing of Hamilton, Graves, Ty Smith, Severson, PK Subban, Will Butcher,
Kevin Ball,
or
Kevin
Murray.
Ball,
Or Siegenthaler.
Or Ryan Murray. Or Siegenthaler.
Now you have depth on defense.
Yeah.
So if guys get hurt,
and some big bodies.
Next
too.
guy up. And
some guys like to block some shots too.
And with the future of Luke Hughes and other defensemen in the AHL, it changes the dynamics completely. And Dougie Hamilton is not he's a pretty good player. So,
Oh, yeah, no.
and
Yeah,
in
100%.
terms of
No,
free,
don't- yeah.
in terms of free agency, if Dougie Hamilton signs that long-term deal, getting free agents may not be so hard because it doesn't look like a total forever rebuild anymore. It looks like a team that's just
It looks
ready
like
to
you-
go.
Yeah, and it looks like you have a pretty solidified, blue line. And here's the thing: is Fitzgerald. A lot of people are like the Devils are 3 years away, 3 years away, 3 years. If you really look at how he's constructed that blue line right now and where it sits, you add Dougie Hamilton into that. All of a sudden, that takes a giant step forward. You look at the forward core. If you could add in a couple, one or two pieces. And that could be either, it doesn't have to be a Landeskog, even though I think Landeskog would be an absolute monster for this team, even more so than Dougie Hamilton. I think Landeskog would be a huge piece. Whatever. But there's a couple of things that you could get. If you could get a Tarasenko, somebody that could be a finisher. Because I think that's the one thing that this team is missing offensively is a finisher. We have tons of setup guys. You have a bunch of sous chefs. You need a chef. You need a head chef that can go in there and just bury the puck.
Now, I'm a big believer, in this just watching a lot of video from, Holtz from last year. I really believe in his shot. I think his shot is a rocket. And when he does get here, hopefully he pans out. You never know. It could be, oh man, who was that guy that had the big shot but he never scored? He could be Bobby Butler. It could be old Bobby Butler. You never know. The old Reed Boucher. All the hype in the world and it doesn't pan out. You never know. But his shot looks really impressive. And I know we've talked about how nice Tarasenko would look for 2 years. Again, much like Luke Hughes. That way he can take his time. There's no rush. There's no come on. You don't have an angry mob of fans saying, let's go. It's less pressure on him. And the thing, though, that I hear, which doesn't surprise me, is that the Blues are asking for an insane amount.
Sure.
Especially a team. Especially a team like the Devils here who has done a good job, in rebuilding this farm system, with these picks and everything. And I mean, if you go around the league, they'll tell you we're looking really, they say it. You said it before. 3 years, the Devils are going to be a beast. 3 years, the Devils are going to be a beast. Everyone sees it. You see how it's built. There's a lot of good pieces that you can snatch in here. And I am sure St. Louis is asking for a boatload for Tarasenko. Especially on a team like us that has all these different prospects, on the offense and the defensive side. Samu, you got some socials?
You're muted.
You're muted there.
Whoops.
Oh, boy.
All right. So on social
Our producer
media,
never takes a shift off.
On social media, Twitter live at Chattis33 says Hamilton is at best 50-50, should discuss alternatives. I'm not so sure about that, but YouTube live, Phil says, where's the beef? NFZ engage. Geeker Gamer Family says John Madden was undrafted. He was a pretty good Devil.
There you go. There you go.
Can the Devils afford Landeskog and Hamilton in this?
Was Andy Green drafted, by the way? I don't think he was, right?
No.
Out of Miami of Ohio, undrafted Andy Green. Look at what he's done in his career. See, you never know.
Rafalski.
Yeah, I was just about to say.
Right. Oh, that's right. Wasn't he up in the Finnish league or something like that? That he got plucked out of, or something like that, if I remember correctly. Or I could be wrong. Maybe I'm thinking of someone else.
No, he was in Europe.
But either way,
he was
in Europe. Okay.
Yep.
But yeah, see, you never know. We do have these first rounders that we all have a lot of high hopes for, and you do feel like a first rounder has the talent to at least someday make it to the NHL level. It may not pan out like a Reed Boucher or a Jacob Josephson, you know. But every now and can't say every once in a while. Probably only happens once that you get a Martin Brodeur, the greatest goalie in the history of the world. But you can see some names behind me. Oops, I went the wrong way, you know. You know.
Hey, man.
We'll see how it goes.
And that's the thing is free agency is only in 3 days. I know we're going to analyze the draft, but that's putting a lot of weight onto our shoulders because we're not draft analysts. But in all honesty, you know, the Devils, they graded out as a B in a lot of places. I was looking around.
They got some size.
They got
some size.
End. They got some size in the back end.
They drafted a goalie,
which was nice. Alive of getting a goalie.
I like that they drafted another goalie. You know, last year they got Nico Dawes late in the game, actually, right? I think he was like 3rd or 4th round pick last year. And he's been impressive. You know, I think he was playing in the German leagues, if I'm not mistaken. And getting another goalie, as we can see, that depth in goaltender, we need it. We need it. Like our goaltending was a big problem this last year, and we know crazy year, got it. You know, but our defense didn't help out. Yeah, but it started out with Corey Crawford, like from the get-go. It was just like, okay, it's just going to be one of those years with goaltending, isn't it? You know, that's just how it's going to go. Mac Black was the first one to go down with COVID was Mac Black, you know? So it was just like, we knew it. So getting more depth on goaltending is huge. So I was really happy to see that. Where did they pick that kid? He was like another 4th or 5th round pick, right? 4th round?
Somewhere around there, yeah. I mean, like they were doing pretty decent before that first COVID outbreak, if everybody remembers. They were hanging in there. They weren't, lighting the world on fire, but they were hanging in there, and they're being, they were competitive. There's a lot of
Jacob Malik. Was that it? Is that him? I think that's the goalie,
Jacob
right?
Malik.
Jacob Malik.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Malik or Malik?
And a lot of people were like, "Who's this effing guy?"
He is a Czech. All right, another Czech Republic second league goalie.
Yep.
We can look up some stuff.
He's like 6'6" and 150 pounds or something like that, which is, I'm not kidding either. Look up how tall he is and how much he weighs. It's the weirdest thing ever.
Hey, buddy, why don't you come over to New Jersey? We'll get you a nice chicken parmesan platter, and we'll fatten you up there a little bit so you can go block the puck, all right? Don't worry. We'll put a little extra mozzarella on there. We'll get you all nice and good. 155 to 185, no problem.
And no time. You want just straight carbs. We'll bring you to a place. You'll be eating the most best palm of your life.
We're going to bring you to our friend Enzo, okay? We'll do a live podcast. We'll get some people come down. We'll give you the chicken palm, and then we'll get you good, all right?
We'll have a pasta eating contest, you versus you. Winner. I mean, you lose. But, but so here's the thing, though. Speaking of the goaltending situation, there's been a lot of rumors. I know recently, actually, the Devils have been tied to Braden Holtby. They've been tied to Marc-Andre Fleury. Hey, listen, Braden Holtby or Fleury, you hear those names and you're like, man, oh, man. But Holtby is not really what he used to be. I think he got burnt out trying to match, Brodeur's lifestyle of playing basically, 72 games.
Every game,
games. So Holtby is not what he used to be. But with that being said, he is Braden Holtby. He does have the pedigree. He has a cup under his belt. You have Marc-Andre Fleury. If the Devils were able to get him or Leonard from the Vegas Golden Knights, as long as it doesn't cost you an arm and a leg, hell yes, you do that. Whatever they decide to do, they tried to do it last year with Crawford, and it was the right idea. You get a proven, solid goaltender that's going to be your number 2. And it's not like a 1 and a 2. It's more like a 1A, 1B thing. And I feel like Mac Black, he can be our number 1. But if he starts to slide, you need to have somebody that can step in and and grab the reins and be like, if you don't want the number one, fine, I'll take it from you. Because I think that would push it to be a little bit better. Because last year, every time Mac Black wasn't in, when we had somebody else in, you're like, hey, nice pads, Dell. Ooh, 5 goals. All right. How many shots? 7. Great. Thank you. So
yeah, I think we want someone who can be there for a more like 60-40 kind of 55-45 split, kind of deal before Mac Black is ready to move into a more like, 70-30 kind of a real starting goaltender, number one type of deal. So I listen, I'm all about that. I'm just personally, I've always liked Yaroslav Halak. I just always found him to be an entertaining goalie and always came up and made some big saves. He's played with so many teams. But I remember some of his early runs with Montreal and Chicago. Man, that's like over 10 years ago now.
yeah.
But in that sense, doesn't have to be Halak. But like you said, Holtby, Fleury, would be a great mentor. Again, I think that would be a wonderful situation.
Great personality, yeah.
Well, for these guys as well, and like you were saying, they don't have to be Braden Holtby of before. Of course not. We don't want him playing 75 games. We want him playing, 35 games instead. That's what we're looking at here. 40 games, not 70. Somewhere in that split. Like 30 there, 50 to Mac Black. Whatever, the 31, 51, whatever. 82 games. Maybe if he struggles, then that's where you can, maybe more, like what is it, 45, 30, 35, whatever the math is. I'm bad at math. Don't
45, 55,
whatever the hell, whatever it is. Don't yell at me, Facebook or YouTube, because I'm bad with math numbers here. So, but you get my point. If there is,
you called it math numbers. So
yeah, math numbers. Yeah. now I'm being Charlie. Now I'm being Charlie from It's Always Sunny. Good with the math numbers.
The math numbers.
Charlie, do you know how to read? Yeah, of course. Yeah. I don't think you do.
You got a bag. You got a bag of rats next to you.
But now I lost my train of thought. Started to think about It's Always Sunny clips.
But
anyway,
to pick up where you left off is, having a proven commodity behind Mac Black is
goalies.
It's going to make a world of difference. I know there's a lot of people that are like, I'd rather have Dawes than Holtby, or I'd rather have this guy than this guy, and it's like,
give Dawes another year. Let him develop.
You can't. Yeah, you can't rely on a kid who hasn't even sniffed the NHL.
Much like we're talking Tarasenko. Tarasenko's got 2 more years on his deal than he's done. That's the same sort of range we're looking at here. Can we grab someone for like a year or two, veteran style, just to help carry the load until
the bridge.
Either till A, Mac Black is ready to go, or B, the rest of the team is ready to go, and we need to go out and find like a goaltender, that can actually play in that number one role.
I would love to have Fleury, which would be funny because if he came to the Devils, you would think either Mac Black's going to give up 29 or Fleury's got to pick another number. But I personally, I've always liked Fleury. I've always liked his personality. Mm-hmm. I've always liked his style of goaltending. He's a proven winner. I thought Pittsburgh was an absolute. That was such a dumb mistake to let him go in the expansion draft. He's. I just think he would be a good fit. I think he would be a good fit to this team because you're not asking him to be you're not asking him to be the proven number one. You're just saying like, hey, look, we have our number one. Help him be better, and then when we need you to come in for a 5-game stint, you come in for a 5-game stint. You balance it out so both guys are fresh. And listen, and that's how the new NHL works nowadays. You get guys, except unless you have Vasilevsky, which is completely different. Giving guys like shared time in net. If you have two reliable goaltenders, you can ride that train all the way to the end.
And that's what we got to do until, like I said, we find out if Mac Black is ready to be that number one. We all hope he is, but let's face it, like we were just talking about, not every prospect may work out, Yeah. So we got to get ready for both situations, which I'm sure Fitzy will look into. That's why keep drafting goalies. I think it's great to have that goaltending depth. And also, it's always fun to throw chip. That's a good chip to throw in when you're doing a trade too. A nice goalie prospect there, So, but I think it was very wise of him to get the goalie Jacob Malik or Malik. I think it's Malik. I'm not positive. But a couple other. I was surprised to see a center because we have so many centers. But then again, you got to replenish the system as well. So, but defense, and it seemed to be, some guys with size. A lot of them were over 6 foot. I'll say that
6'6", a few of them, yeah. So in the third round at number 68, we picked Samu Salm. Oh God, here we go. Salmon.
Come on.
I can't do it.
No, not Salmonella. His name is not Salmonella. Ansi Salmonella.
Salmonin. That sounds good enough. Salmonin. Bueller. So a lot of people projected him to be in the 25 to 30 area. There's a lot of people that were projecting him to be way higher, and there's a lot of people that said that Stillman, the Devils completely missed the boat on, and reached at 29. And then they said, but they made up for it with that pick at 68. So you're just saying like, picking another center when it feels like we have a lot of depth at center. Here's the thing. That's up the middle is one of those positions that you can never have enough good depth at. And as time goes by, you're going to have to start, moving people around or, shifting people to wing and then bringing people, there's having somebody that's versatile. So one of the things that a lot of people are like, why would you want to do that? Okay, so when you have the Hischier, Zacha, Bratt line out on the ice, and you're in a crunch time of the game, and you have Nico in the faceoff circle, right? Nico gets kicked out of the faceoff circle for whatever bonehead reason because the referee just wants to kick him out. Having Pavel Zacha right there, who's a decent faceoff person because he's also a center, is not a bad idea. So having somebody that could step into the faceoff circle that is now a transitioned winger, and let's be real too. Some of these things don't stick all the way through the NHL, right? So you have guys that are wingers that end up being centers. You have guys that are centers that end up being wingers. Either way, but hold on, Sam had something to say. Okay. What do you have to say there, Sam? Oh, very cool.
Sam's got nothing to say, and he'll like it. I want to just read you this quick quote because we have been talking about old Chase Stillman. That's a pretty good name. Old Chase Stillman over here. He seems like he's like an old West outlaw. Chase Stillman.
His father, two-time Stanley Cup, Corey Stillman. Just saying.
There you go. Really? Is it?
Yeah, his dad won the Stanley Cup with the Carolina Hurricanes in.
Oh, okay.
Oh wait, am I wrong about that?
All right.
No,
I don't know
right.
if that's actually his dad.
No, I'm right about that.
Hurricanes
and he was on a team that beat the Devils in that were not to mention game.
Let's not talk about that series, okay? Jeez. God.
This is like.
Listen.
Go ahead. Go.
Listen to this quote. Ready? This is what Mr. Stillman says about himself. Okay. I think I am a strong two-way power forward with skill. I like to bang bodies. Get in front of the net. I would have been missing that. And play hard and compete. but I think I can bring an offensive side where I score goals and make plays and make players around me better. Hopefully, I can just step in and do something to help out. Scouting report, punishing body checker with relentless puck pursuit.
Yes.
That's what we've been missing. That's what we've been missing.
For all the finesse,
I think it's a good pick.
all the finesse that this team could have with Jack and Nico and all this other, you need somebody that's going to punish you if you go. You know, you need somebody that's going to call the bell. So, it's a good move. What's up? Sam's laughing.
I'm just reading this stupid comment. I'll take a screenshot of it.
All right.
On YouTube Live. I don't know which one this guy's talking about, but I'll send it to you guys. Idiot.
How about this?
There's two Scots? Sorry.
Oh yeah.
How about Tobias, not Tobias? All right, which would have been great for the Arrested Development memes that we could have come up with and references that we could use. But Tobias Villain, is his last name really Villain? Vilen? Villain? Wow, if his name is Villain, that's friggin' awesome. This guy has got to make the team if his last name is actually Villain. But again, I like to play physical games. All right, 6 foot, already 194 pounds. You know, that's going to be like
Adam Juris doesn't like you or doesn't like me. We're trying to figure it out.
No.
Yeah, who gives a crap? You can cram it with walnuts. Now you can hate both of us.
Why you always want to cram it with walnuts? I like walnuts.
It's from The Simpsons. Come on. Give it the time.
Oh, okay. All right. Sorry.
Well, you know what? That tells you the theme of the 2021 NHL draft. We wanted beef. Scotty, you and I was actually complaining to you every post game that we needed beef. We needed guys to push their opposing team around. That's what Fitzy did. That's what Fitzy did. Now this team, as it evolves and develops, and the improvements made, and they've got the size and speed. If they can sign a couple good free agents or great free agents, while these kids are developing, suddenly there are reinforcements 3 to 5 years down the line when you've got Luke Hughes, plug him in. Chase Stillman, plug him in. That Finnish centerman that's, 6'6", plug him in. He's a big body.
Yeah, Samu Salaminen, a responsible, mature leader who has been a captain on most of the teams he's played for. There you go.
That's what you're looking for.
It's about character. You know, that's what
say,
Fitzgerald's. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, on the YouTube Live, because now you got my attention, so now I flipped over to the YouTube Live. Geeky Gamer Family, that's a good name right there. It says, gotta have a Bobby Holik. And I agree. Somebody that can score, somebody with a little bit of grit to him. And, and that like Scotty has been saying this for the longest time, is the Devils have been missing that grit. You had Miles Wood, who was in there, mixing it up and going in there and punching people in the face.
No, we had Jesper Bratt going in there and mixing it up. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Jesper Bratt was our tough guy.
And one day somebody was like, Miles, take it easy. Take it easy. You're going to hurt your hands. And he listened, apparently. So now you had that grittiness with Miles Wood. He's still gritty. Don't get me wrong. He still, gets himself in the middle. He's no Clarkson. He was starting to get into that Clarkson area, but he's no Clarkson. He's not a Clarkson. But we missed that. We missed that David Clarkson, that Bobby Holik, that Randy McKay, that the guys that are the lunch pailers, but are, they could put a couple pucks in the net, but they're also going to punch you in the mouth. So,
I think that was evident with some of these draft picks. that they really did want to get some size and get some beef coming up through that system. You know?
Yeah. Agreed.
They have to.
Agreed.
They have to. They really do. You know, especially if you do have some players who do play. Like we've talked about Pavel Zacha. Even though he's a big player, he's more of a finesse player. You know, he's not out there like leveling people with his massive frame, you know. He seems to be someone who's going to have a good shot and might turn into a really good winger who also can double as a center and maybe be a big, you know, scorer in that sense. But when you initially look at him, he's what, like 6'5" something, you know, like 200 pounds. You're like, oh, this guy's probably going to plow. Yeah. You're like, this guy's going to plow people over, but that's not his game at all, you know? Mm-hmm. So I think we got some players whose game is physical, you know? Like, I think that's a big thing. And I think that's where the Stillman pick comes in. I don't know if Fitzy was planning on, like I said, just the stuff I was reading about that Oscar Olsson kid, you know, if he fell, he's coming from, I believe he was on the same team as Alexander Holtz in Sweden as well. That was some sort of the connection there too. So it was nice. It was a nice dream, but maybe all along Fitzy had this planned. Much like last year when, you know, what's his name? The Rangers snatched what's his name? You know, Schneider. Fitzy was just like, nah, we kind of had Mohamedulin scouted the whole time. You know, that's where we were going to go. You know, it was a pick that many people thought was, you know, a little strange at first, a little out of left field. Like, what's going on? What are they doing? Same thing is happening, you know, with the Stillman pick as well. So I'm going to say I'm going to give Fitzy the benefit of the doubt on this. He seems to be much smarter than me when it comes to drafting people because I like what he's doing. I like what he's building, and I see the direction the team is going, and I see that he is stockpiling this. So the cycle isn't just one time and done. It's a cycle that keeps moving, and these players are going to keep coming through our system, and like we're going to keep getting all these good players. And sometimes we're going to have to say goodbye to some of them. You know, that's the way it's just going to have to be. And he's going to have to be smart and pick and choose which ones to sign long term. But that's the idea, is to be able to, when sometimes you do have to say goodbye to someone, you have more pieces ready to keep coming in. And then also having pieces to make trades, you know, not only just our cap space. You know, we always joke about our cap space that we have, you know, but like, sometimes in the future, like I was saying before, and I've said it again, like, you know, I'm not 100% sold on Mac Black. I don't know how you can be to just be that confident, say he's going to be the number one goaltender and blah, blah, blah. We may have to make a deal, you know, if, you know, Jack and Nico and Alexander Holtz and all these people, Pavel Zacha, you know, Dawson Mercer, Riley Walsh, Ty Smith, Kevin Ball, Ryan Graves, you know, like all these guys start panning out and we need that goaltending, you're going to have to make a deal. You're going to make a deal. Just like we needed help on defense, and Fitzy went out there and he made a deal. You know, it doesn't solve all of our problems, but it puts us definitely in a step the right direction. Much like you were talking about earlier. Yeah, Sam, will maybe if we do sign Dougie Hamilton, that's a, you know, up in the air type of thing. But wow, did our defense just drastically improve from last year?
And that also is going to help out our goaltending situation as well, because
of course,
if you have a drastically improved defense in front of a goaltender, you can only imagine it's going to make him better. It's going to give him more confidence and put him in a good position. So, listen, man, 3 days until the chips fall. Well, not necessarily. I mean, it just means that free agency opens up in 3 days, but typically a lot of those moves happen like right on, you know, what is it, noon? As soon as noon hits and then the doors open. And it used to be like, hey, well, oh my God, we'll find out. But now everybody leaks everything. So, hey, we might know sooner than later. But irregardless, in 3 days, it's going to start, you know, free agency opens up and this team can really start to take some form. You might see some moves. You might see some trades. there's a lot of potential of what this team could be. And I think there's a lot of optimism, but it's also met with a lot of skepticism because we've been down this road before. You know, when we first got PK and we got Gusev and we were on cloud 9. We're like, oh, this is it. The Rangers got Panarin. Who cares? We got the better Russian. We got Gusev. Let's not go back to that conversation, but we're just saying we were at one point on cloud 9 because the projection of what this team could be. This seems a little bit more realistic. This seems a little bit more like, all right, you know, we're building within, and we're also starting to add the pieces now. And this is something that, Scotty, you've been saying.
Young pieces, too.
Forever.
Young pieces.
Yeah, you know, you've been saying this forever. It's like, don't go out there and think you could build it in one night. Build it over time, and then add the pieces that are necessary to finish it off. You know, you're building a house. Don't start putting up, you know, the roof when you don't have a foundation set up. First of all, that makes no sense, but you know what I mean.
But yeah, no, don't make a trade just to like make a trade because we have a lot of prospects, you know, like I'm happy that if the Blues were asking for a lot, I mean, I don't know what they were, but I've heard, you know, what did we talk about? What was it, Jesper Boquist, you know, like maybe some other picks, draft pick or something like that might have been involved. I don't know how much salary tension, you know, was involved, but I mean, don't go out of your way just to get Tarasenko just because he's available, you know, like if St. Louis is trying to lowball us, like, see ya. We don't need it. We don't need it. There'll be other people that we can bring in a short term. Tarasenko would be nice though, because it would definitely give, you know, Nico a fun toy to play with, you know,
or Jack. Yeah. 100%.
Oh, he's got his Igor. He got Igor and Yanni.
He does.
He's got his Igor and Yanni.
But if you're like, hey, Jack, do you want Igor, who's, you know, it's good and all, but, or do you want Vladimir Tarasenko? And by the way, let's here's you gotta throw on Cherigovich already. Jeez. No. I'm just saying. Come on, let's be realistic. Can I just put this out there too? For anybody that's like, the Tarasenko move would be stupid, blah, blah, blah.
It's only 2 years.
It's only 2 years, yeah. I was reading this article about like, oh, well, his shoulder, you know, he hasn't finished a whole season in the last 2 years, 3 years, something like that. Tarasenko is in a position now where the doctors that repaired his shoulder are basically saying like he's good to go. Obviously, the doctor would say that regardless because they don't want to be like, oh, we think it's good. We put a couple of screws in there and some duct tape, and he's good to go. But so you would imagine he would say that he's 100%. I believe that wherever he goes, he's going to ball out of his mind. At least for this year. He's going to be on a vengeance tour. Because, first of all, he is extremely unhappy in St. Louis. He blames the St. Louis Blues for what happened to his shoulder. He blames the St. Louis Blues medical staff for being in the position that he's in. And he has basically come out and said in so many words, like, I'm still one of the best in the league, and I'll prove it to you. Now that I feel good, I'll go out there and I'll prove it to you, but I do not want to do it for this team. So wherever he ends up, if he ends up on the Devils, it could be like the Taylor Hall MVP year where he could come out like a man on fire and just lighting it up, and that would be amazing. But that's also fool's gold because you want to see that be sustainable. We saw that with Taylor Hall. You know, like Hall came out in that MVP year, and he was a man on a mission. And he, you know, if he didn't get hurt in that little interim section of that point streak that he had, that point streak would have been double what he ended up with. So you saw a guy go out there with a man on a mission, putting up astronomical numbers, and then just came crashing down to earth at lightning speed. And I think there's a lot of things that have happened with the Devils in recent history where we get excited about something, but then we have to like pull back the reins because we're like, wait a second, we've been down this road before. So that, I mean, that's the thing that scares me about Tarasenko.
I hope Marty was nice to him in his time in St. Louis.
Yeah, hey, there you go. That's a good point. That's a good point. That's a good point.
Marty's our, we just sent him in to kind of like, plant the seeds and stuff like that. Oh, yeah, come over. It's close to New York. There's everything there. Great chicken parm.
Put some pounds on you.
Put some pounds like that going. We're going to get our buddy Dino from Enzo's to make some chicken parm for our goalie prospects. And get them nice and put on a little extra wing, a little pasta on the side there, maybe a little angel hair, maybe a little ziti, whatever you like. We'll get a little pasta on the side. Well, maybe some garlic bread too. We'll get them good. Like I said, we'll get this 155 pounds up to 185 in no time. No time.
I'll tell you what, Scotty. Have you ever been to Enzo's at all?
I have not, because I live in Los Angeles, and I have not been to Hackettstown in many years. So, I have not.
Their veggie pasta is probably better than most places' pasta. It's that good. It is
nice.
Something about what they do. Everything's homemade, I believe. Like all the pasta
and locally sourced, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
They get all their produce from local farms. By the way, we're not getting paid by them to say this kind of stuff. This is just fact.
Just fact.
You rep a place when you like it. You know what I mean?
Not yet.
It would have been great if like a giant check came in from off screen and you're like, oh, God, oh.
Yeah, like
it would have been fantastic if like there was a knock at my door and it was like, hey, you got a chicken parm from Enzo in New Jersey delivered.
Yeah. Like, how did they deliver that and an Italian guy from New Jersey to bring it to me? Oh my God. See you later. I gotta go.
Oh,
but,
man.
All seriousness, though, like that, that place is amazing. But hey, listen, boys, I know we're getting towards the end here, but I have to say maybe we might as well just jump into my final thought right here.
Yeah.
The next 3 days, actually the next 2 days, because today is the 25th. So in 2 days, because tomorrow will be the 26th, so we're going to do math numbers.
Numbers.
So technically in 2 days, free agency opens up. What we're looking at right now could be a lot different. And as excited as I want to get, I want to temper that with a little bit of just caution of let's see what happens. As excited as we can get. And I know, listen, there's a lot of us out there as Devil fans. We're chomping at the bit to get some kind of positivity into this team, some kind of like just good. Like, God dang it. We want to just be in the Rock in late April, in May, in June, walking up to the Rock wearing a pair of shorts and a Devils jersey because it's 98 degrees outside in the middle of May, and you're going to go watch some playoff hockey. Like, there's
does it
nothing
have to be 98? Can it be like 75 or something like that?
It could be 75. I'm just saying, man. It's like the feeling of walking up to the Rock when it's like warm out and you're walking up and you're pumped and you see the atmosphere outside. Everybody's excited. You go into the building. It's absolutely electric. You're standing up.
Wait. You're walking from the train station to Taj Lounge 973. You're going to our pregame podcast, having a great time and all that. It's not like, like you said, we're making big bucks, off of that plug there. But yeah. But no, sorry to interrupt, but I just wanted to get that in there.
Hey, listen, long way to get there, but my final thought would be good times are coming. And it feels like it's real this time. So that would be that.
My final thought is just go back and watch that video of Jack's face when the Devils selected Luke at number 4. And the face and the excitement in that face when that name was called should say it all for you. And then take a look at Quinn and look how bad he wants to play with his brothers as well. Keep that in the back of your mind. In a couple years, Luke will be ready. Jack will be a superstar. Quinn will be a UFA. Can I get a cha-ching, Samwu?
Yeah, cha-ching.
And when Luke Hughes go through another growth spurt.
Hey, where's the meat?
When he comes out of college, 6'7", 215. Apparently, he's still growing. Apparently, he's still growing. So you never know.
He's only 17. He's only 17. He's going to grow for another 2 years or so.
He's only 17.
When I was 17,
Let's not say
good beer.
Let's
I drank some really
stay
good
with
beer that I
the
bought
Beer
with
Baron
cupcake
song.
candy.
Let's not do the Samwu rendition there. No winger. All right.
Yeah.
Well, here are my final thoughts. We will be there October 15th down at Todd Lounge 973 for opening night. It's a Friday night. We have a lot of plans in the works to make a grand reopening of the season of Devils hockey. Hopefully it's at full capacity. And also, I'd like to thank Amanda, our waitress at Enzo's, who took care of all of our guests, people that showed up.
Bless her heart.
Yeah,
I can only imagine. Our motley crew. Good gravy.
And we look forward to doing more of these, so we're building a schedule together. Also, Wednesday, Tuesday, and Monday this week, we're on Breaking News Alert. So, yeah. We're in Breaking News formation. When things break.
Formation. Do you send out a text to everybody, like an alert text? No.
What happens is, Devils make a trade or something. I text
like a flash flood test.
Yeah,
flash
who can
flood
go
alert
on the podcast? And
Devils trade alert. My phone just starts buzzing nonstop.
Yep. Keep it here. Also, I wanted to talk to you, David Decker. I have some questions for you. I was in his neck of the woods this past weekend. But anyway, so keep it here. Till next time. Let me cue this thing up here. Till next time, let's go Devils.